Hi everyone, it's Wednesday, the 27th of December, 2023, 9:31 GMT, and we've got a lot to catch up on because I'm afraid the stakes are getting very high in this drama. So we're going to start with the sea because this is where the latest pressure is built up from the Iranians via the uh, Houthi proxies in Yemen. They've been attacking shipping along the Red Sea and the Gulf of Aden. And while those may not be familiar waterways to most of us, the Bab el Mandab Strait, we all know the Suez Canal. Well, you can't get to the Suez Canal from ports. This is how you get there. This route is the equivalent of an I-95 in in world maritime terms, because the Suez Canal is like the George Washington Bridge, one of the major choke points of worldwide shipping. Um, so the Houthis are firing heavy duty guided missiles against all sorts of shipping. And Bloomberg reports that shipping is down from a peak of about 26 vessels a day going through the Strait of Mandab to about seven now. So that's a severe decrease, and it's headed downward. And that's the tanker fleet. The container fleet has been shunning the Bab el Mandab now for 2 months. So they've long since rerouted. So that's becoming a huge problem. But keep in mind that the area is brimming with firepower. The Ford is here. The Eisenhower is, well, they say it's here in the Arabian Sea. I suspect it's closer to the Persian Gulf. Um, and there are guided missile frigates all along the Red Sea, and the Indian Navy has just dispatched one of their guided missile destroyers. There's a French vessel, a British vessel, an Italian corvair, and about, from what I can gather, somewhere between four or more U.S. Arleigh Burke guided missile destroyers. And just, for the sake of transparency, guided missiles are missiles that can change course after launch. The the missiles that are fired on Israel and continue to be fired, I might add. There's regular fire that goes on all day long here. Not in Jerusalem, thankfully, but in the south, it's endless. It's all day long, and the north. Um, they though most of those are ballistic missiles. They just shot and they have a ballistic trajectory and are relatively easily intercepted. Guided missiles are not. They're way more complicated, more difficult, and much more expensive to take out. But the U.S. Navy is well endowed, and they are here in big numbers. They're probably going to arrange convoys to guide shipping through the from the Gulf of Aden into the Red Sea and into the Gulf of Suez. But it takes a tremendous amount of vehicles, as anybody who's been in a convoy knows, to keep them in order. It's complicated, and it's very vessel intensive or vehicle intensive. It's on a road. Um, the North is definitely heating up. There's no question about that. The IDF has been quietly taking out lots of targets in Lebanon. Southern Lebanon has been evacuated, most of its civilian population. And the big question here is, there's a lot of risks in this for Iran. If she can save her proxies, then her position is stronger, and vice versa. If those proxies are eliminated, her position against, in the rest of the world is severely weakened. The question, of course, is how far are the mullahs willing to go with this? I don't know, and I haven't read too much intelligence about that. Nobody really knows. They're in serious political trouble at home. They have under half of the population supports them, and those that say they do probably do so out of fear or corruption. So they're holding on by a thread in their own country. So they have a vested interest in stirring up matters outside the country. that they think they can control better than the ones in their country. That's an old gambit, by the way. They didn't invent it. But one of the things they did invent is the arts of negotiation and bargaining. There are none better in the world, maybe perhaps with the exception of the Syrians, the but the Halabis. But the Persians invented the carpet market, and they know how to make a deal. And that's the question. What are they looking for? What kind of deal are they looking to close? What is their purpose here? That remains to be seen. But what is getting clearer to me is that with Israel and the United States and its fellow allies, that there's a consensus now to suppress, if not remove, those proxies. The Houthis are mucking around with worldwide shipping. There's a lot of interest, a lot of tremendous financial, economic interests involved in this. The diversity of the crew that's trying to thwart those missile attacks. You know, gives speaks volumes about the front that Iran faces in implying this particular strategy. But those are the stakes, and it seems definitely like the Israelis are quite prepared to fight on all of the fronts that are now open. And let's be clear about that too. If we focus in on Gaza, as we are wont to do these days, um, there are a great many casualties still being reported out of the northern part of the Strip. While they say Gaza has been captured, they're still fighting and Israeli blood being spilled, trying to mop up and suppress that quote unquote capture. Khan Yunis, of course, the next big city, is also under, it has active fighting, but the greater casualties, are still taking place in the north. That indicates that we're far from wrapping things up here. Um, and as we had thought early on, a great many of those casualties are engineers. This is an engineering war, and it's slow, and it's very, uh, uh, you know, sustained and slow and deliberate and painstaking work, and it's also very, very dangerous. So and we're seeing that, and we're also seeing return fire from the enemy, who are still using tunnels that are active and functional. So we've got this is going to take a while here. And question is the timing. It's By the way, things are open in Iraq. The U.S. forces have been under fire from Iranian rebels and anti-Iraqi forces in Iraq, and obviously there's a great deal of fire coming from southern Lebanon into Israel. Casualties continue to mount on that front, and the IDF is attacking positions here. But keep in mind, there's at least 120 to 150,000 missiles here. So far in the war fired from Gaza, the number is somewhere around 10,000. 10,000. And we've been heavily, heavily, attacked. 10,000, 120,000. So we're in the early innings of this mess. And I got distracted. There's also problems. The Israelis are really making a sweep of Hamas supporters in the West Bank, and there's no shortage of them. And that may be for the purpose of negotiations and trading prisoners later. I don't know. It just may be for the purpose of getting rid of the Hamas altogether everywhere once and for all, which I hope it is. Um, and we're fighting on all these fronts now, and it's uh, it's not reassuring to me, not reassuring to anybody. Um, but that's the situation. It's a little bit distressing, but that's the truth as we see it here. Um, so stay informed, stay strong, and stay in touch. Talk soon.